Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla and it's time to crack into a good book. So you may notice I'm filming in a different location, and so I am actually at my parents' house, and I figured I would do a bookshelf tour here. And I think I mentioned in my last bookshelf tour, which I'll leave linked down below, that, you know, most of my books are here. So yeah, we'll start in the closet where there are a large majority of these books, and we'll work our way around. So we've got a lot of double stacked stuff here. So it's going to take a bit. We'll start at the top. But we have up here, there's some Michael J. Sullivan. This is like what is this even called? This is like a fantasy series by Sharon Shin that I really like. Uprooted, First Law trilogy, and Red Country. Somerset Castle Auburn, also by Sharon Shin. Back here we have, let's see, The Shining, a couple of these Nikki Glass series books that I talked about recently. There are actually 3 of them. Okay. The Passage, let's see, Hawksbar and Talon by, I do not know how to pronounce her name. I don't know if it's Holly Lyle. These are pretty old, but they were like a really interesting fantasy series. This Soulbound is like a paranormal romance. There's more of the Sharon Shin series. These are actually 2 different series. This is the same as the other, like the Jeweled Blessings or whatever it's called. This is the 12 Houses series, which I have some of back in North Carolina, and then these 2 are like her Shapeshifter series, which I've mentioned I think on my channel before. And then we have more Michael J. Sullivan books, the Gentleman Bastard series, all of the Mistborn, the original Mistborn trilogy, and I guess the first book of the next series, and Warbreaker up there. On this next to the top shelf, we've got my like Outlander books. This is one of the Iron Druid series. We've got the Calliope Reaper Jones series that I recently mentioned on my channel. So that's like an urban fantasy series about the Grim Reaper. These are a really awesome urban fantasy series. I've got one of them out in North Carolina. I don't know if she's still writing books, but she's pretty great. This is the first of the Ghost Roads or whatever series by Shonda McGuire. This is the Negotiator trilogy by C.E. Murphy. I really like that. It has gargoyles, and that's kind of fun. Another Outlander book. We've got a whole bunch of the James Rollins books. These are all like the Sigma Force books. We'll go around this awkward pole thing. There's more of that. And then whatever this series is called, like a vampire series. Just more of his books. There's an anthology. Edited in part by George R. R. Martin. I've got a lot of anthologies back here. This is kind of like this awkward corner. But so we've got The Rook, all of this Georgina Kincaid series by Rochelle Mead that I really like. A couple more anthologies, Dates from Hell and Inked. Back here, hopefully you can see this okay, Neverwhere, Quick Fix, and a little bit below it, Inafix, are like an urban fantasy series, I think, where the main character is like a shapeshifter type person. On the Prowl, just lots of, this is like Never After, Bloodlight 3, Aftertaste. We've got Chicks Kick Butt, Into the Woods, which I think is a collection of the Hollows short stories by Kim Harrison, The 12 by Justin Cronin, which is the second book in the Passage series, and then another anthology, An Apple for the Creature. So then back here we've got the Jane True series by Nicole Peeler, and then this is like the Morgan Kingsley series by Jenna Black. I apologize for the terrible lighting. I mean, I'm in my closet, so you know, the lighting can only be so good. Over here we've got the Fever series by Karen Marie Moning. So these, I liked the initial series, but then it kind of got like super smutty and strange, I guess. I think I still like these original 5 books, but then like the other ones were not as good. We've got some of the Iron Druid series. Now we get into some of like the older books, so that's kind of fun. But oh shit, I forgot about this. Okay, so Hex Appeal is an anthology. This is what is this? I can't remember what the series is called, but this is by Rachel Aaron, and it's like a fun fantasy series where the main character is like a thief. And there's like a really fun magic system, I think, and yeah, I don't know. These are like the Merlin books that are really kind of old, but I liked them. And then, ooh, this is hard to see, but this is Belle. We're starting to get into some of like my collection of retold fairy tales. And there's like this entire series that came out that were, I don't know, a variety of authors. So you can see, we can try to, this would be great if this would focus a little more. Yeah, so we've got, it's just like a variety of authors. The initial books, the older books that came out had some like really great artwork. But yeah, so we've got like, this is Violet Eyes. This is really hard to see, sorry. The World Above, Winter's Child, The Diamond Secret, Wild Orchid, Crimson Thread, The Rose Bride, Before Midnight, Water Song, Golden, The Night Dance, Spirited, Sunlight and Shadows, Scarlet Moon, Midnight Pearls, Snow, Beauty, Sleep, and The Storyteller's Daughter. So my particular favorites, I really liked Snow and The Storyteller's Daughter, as well as I think Midnight Pearls. So then we have this is like a series by Shannon Hale, I think, or some of these are, where this is like a retelling of The Goose Girl, and then this was like a series, I think the books of Bayern, whatever. These were a series, and this is kind of like a standalone. Then we have like the Gemma Doyle trilogy by Libba Bray. The Book of a Thousand Days by Shannon Hale also. And then again, in this is like the anthology corner, evidently. I don't know why, but it is. So we have Down These Strange Streets, Mean Streets, whole book about vampires, evidently. Dark and Stormy Nights, My Big Fat Supernatural Honeymoon, My Big Fat Supernatural Wedding, Bloodlight, Bloodlight 2, Overbite, Strange Brew, Games, Creatures Play, I think I already said that. In this corner where you can barely see, there's Unbound. Then there's like a Home Improvement, whatever, Death's Excellent Vacation, Wolfsbane and Mistletoe, Many Bloody Returns, and then, what is this? Bespelling Jane Austen, which I have zero recollection about. I evidently read this, and I really don't remember that at all. Huh. Who knew I had that? Alright, one shelf lower. So we've got all of my like Juliet Marillier books, so and some other ones. So we've got up here, this is an anthology, Harvest Moon. I really like Mercedes Lackey, so that's why I got that. This is Dark Currents, which is the first book in the Agent of Hell series, and I've talked about that before. Dreams of the Golden Age. And then here's all like the Juliet Marillier books. So we've got, this is like the initial trilogy of like the Seven Waters trilogy. Wolfskin is a duology. And then Fox Mask is the second book. I couldn't find that for a second. These are like kind of fun retellings, maybe more leaning YA. And then we've got like this Dark Mirror, whatever this trilogy is called. Oh, the Bride Chronicles. More of the Seven Waters series, and then Heart's Blood, which I think it was a standalone, maybe like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. I'm not sure. So we've got this like weird gap, so I guess I'll just kind of show you this stack first. So there's like this Violet Eyes series of 4 books. That's kind of really hard to see, sorry. But this is by Stephen Woodworth. It's kind of like a police procedural type story where these people have like special powers and help solve crimes. And then we have like all my Tamara Pierce books. So this is like the Becca Cooper series over here. And then Battle Magic, which I think was like a spin-off or like a continuation of one of the Circle series or whatever. But anyway, so we have like the Immortals Quartet, and then here's the Protector of the Small Quartet, which is probably my favorite. The Tricksters duology, which wasn't as good. Tortal and Other Lands, which I think was a short story collection, maybe. The Atlanta Quartet, and then we've got like the Circle of Magic series, Circle Opens, and then The Will of the Empress, which was like another continuation, I guess. Then we have Artemis and 12 Kings in Sharakai. This stack, we've got Digital Fortress by Dan Brown, Crown Duel. I really liked this. The Rag Witch by Garth Nix. And then here, this is part of the Nadia Stratford series by Kelly Armstrong, which I've talked about before on my channel. Goddess of Yesterday, which was some sort of like Trojan War thing that I really liked back in the day. Angels and Demons, that whole series, another Dan Brown, Deception Point. And then we have, in this corner, this is like all my Sarah Douglas collection, and now I really love Sarah Douglas. I was so sad when she died a few years ago. I think she had some sort of cancer. But yeah, so this one I think is a standalone, And then what's cool about her series is like a lot of the series connect. So this is not Sarah Douglas. This is just like a Nefertiti retelling or something. I don't know. But here's Beyond the Hanging Wall. And then this is the Dark Glass Mountain series. It's a trilogy. These ones, Threshold, which is probably one of my favorites. And then this is like the Wayfarer Redemption series. These are the Troy Games series. I also really like this. Check out this, like, I found this used, but like, what a fun cover. How like old that is. But yeah, so the Troy game was really good. I don't think this series is for everybody, but I really liked it. And I think the Wayfarer Redemption series and Threshold at least connected and like kind of continued in these books. So that was like, I don't know, really awesome. Actually, I think Beyond the Hanging Wall was somehow involved in that too, but you know, I don't remember exactly. It's been a while since I've read them. Here we've got The Historian, The Fairy Rule, which is just like a anthology. Then we have these books, which I read like forever ago, but I remember really liking them. But that's The Light of the Oracle, The Seer and the Sword, and The Healer's Keep. I don't remember which order those go in. A Wrinkle in Time is up here. Night Seer by Laurel K. Hamilton. I remember nothing about that book. And then we've got Rose Daughter by Robin McKinley. Embers, which is the first, I think, in a duology, urban fantasy duology. The Sentinel Mage, and I've got books 2 and 3 out in North Carolina. Back over here, we've got East. This is Discord's Apple by Carrie Vaughn. This is The Know-It-All, which I think I remember. It's like this guy is like reading the dictionary or something. It was really humorous, actually. And then we have the Ice Mark series, which I really loved when I was younger. And then back here, we've got Mythology by Edith Hamilton. I think that's actually my dad's copy. Parallel Myths, which I don't remember at all. Great book of whodunit puzzles. My roommate is driving me crazy, which presumably my parents got me when I went to undergrad. Wicked, and then Memoirs of a Geisha, which I really liked. And then the shelf below that, we've got the whatever this quartet is by Rochelle Mead. That's like an urban fantasy paranormal romance series. I think I've maybe talked about it before. Wild Justice. This is one of the Nadia Stafford. What is her name? Nadia Stafford series. And then this is like the Walker Papers. This is the Walker Papers series by C.E. Murphy. That's a fun urban fantasy series that I'll probably talk about soon. This is The Fairy Godmother by Mercedes Lackey. So this is like part of she has a whole series of retold fairy tales. And this is kind of like a random hodgepodge because I couldn't fit these with the other books in the series, but it's part of the Hollow series. This is Mercy Thompson, Kitty Norville. This is like the Noble Dead series. I have mixed feelings about it. And then here's more of these retold fairy tales by Mercedes Lackey. And then here's like all of the Kitty Norville books. And then we've got this Hollows Insider, which is like awkwardly wedged in here. Another Hollows book. And then we've got a whole bunch of Patricia Briggs books. So she has some like high fantasy books, which are like these ones, The Hobbs Bargain and The Steal the Dragon. These are like the Alpha and Omega series. Then Mercy Thompson. And then over here, Masks and Wolfbane, that's a duology. And then I think or maybe it's a trilogy. This may be a standalone, I don't remember. This is a duology, high fantasy. And then we've got this like Persephone Alchemy, I think, series by Linda Robertson. I really enjoyed it. It's a fun urban fantasy. I don't know if she's continuing to write that, or she hasn't written anything in years, so I don't know what's happening with that. We have more in the Encrypted series, the Codex Alera series by Jim Butcher. And then over here in this like awkward corner, we have some like, Grimm's fairy tales and things like that. We've got After the Golden Age by Carrie Vaughn, Pirates by Celia Rees, I think. Here's some of the Kate Daniels series by Ilona Andrews. This is a trilogy maybe by Lee Carroll, which is a husband and wife team. And here we've got First in the Grave Witch series, the Alex Craft novels, whatever. Sunshine by Robin McKinley, Deerskin by Robin McKinley. And then there's like a couple of books by Gina Showalter, which are like paranormal romance. So that's Playing with Fire and Twice as Hot. And then we've got this like series by Dennis L. McKiernan. So this is like all retold fairy tales and obviously like different seasons, but I really liked them. And particularly Once Upon a Night, that's a good, or Once Upon a Winter's Night, that's like a fun East of the Sun, West of the Moon retelling. So the audio from my camera is doing weird things, so I'm just having to do a voiceover. But here we have the His Dark Materials series. And then above that, there's Diplomacy of Wolves, Vengeance of Dragons, and Courage of Falcons by Holly Lyle. Still don't know how to pronounce her name, but that's like a much older series. And then there's Vincalis, I think, the Agitator, which was kind of like a tie-in, I guess, to that series. And then above that, I think that's the Green Mile, Salem's Lot, and Good Omens. And then over here, we've got the Edge series by Alona Andrews. There's Red Gold Bridge and Gordath Wood by Patrice Sareth. So that there's another book, but that's like a portal fantasy. Stardust, The Haunting of Eliza Bell Cray, The Blue Girl, which I read both of those like in middle school. And then I think this is The Warrior Queen and the Pirate Queen by Alan Gold. So those are like historical fiction type books. And then over here, there's Ender's Game, Cold Touch and Cold Sight by Leslie Parrish. So that's like a paranormal romance series. She has actually continued that series, but is publishing under Leslie Kelly, I think. And then there's like Underground and some of like the Grey Walker series down there. I've got most of those on Kindle, actually. And then there's the Gardella Vampire Chronicles by Colleen Gleason. And then over here, we've got The Secret of Platform 13. And then this like trilogy that I read forever ago. So this is the first book, Ascension, and it's like a mermaid type retelling of King Arthur and Merlin. I don't want to spoil how things turn out, but I really loved this when I was younger. And then there's Beauty by Robin McKinley. And then over here, there's like some much older books. So we've got like Dragon's Bait by Vivian Vandevelde, I think. I Am Morgan Le Fay by Nancy Springer. And then there's like this Dealing with Dragons quartet by Patricia C. Reed, I think. And then, yeah, there's one down here at the bottom. But then we've got, Chronicles of Narnia, some Ella Enchanted, Heir Apparent by Vivian Vandevelde. And then over here, we've got a couple of the White Trash Zombie series, the Old Kingdom series by Garth Nix, Omens by Kelly Armstrong, which is part of the Canesville series, and then A Memory of Light, which is, part of the Wheel of Time series, which I've also got mostly back there. And then there's a couple of books in the Kara Gillian series by Diana Rowland, and then The Black Swan by Mercedes Lackey. And then over in this corner, we've got User Unfriendly by Vivian Vandevelde. I think there's like some older retelling type things, Inside the Walls of Try, The Gun Seller by Hugh Laurie, some King Kong book, Now Discover Your Strengths, which I'm not sure where that came from, Hitchhiker's Guide, and then a Wheel of Time book. So then we've got more of this Kara Gillian series, whatever. This is the Shifters series that I've talked about recently by Rachel Vincent. And then we've got some like retold fairy tale type things by Mercedes Lackey. The All-Seeing Eye, which is like I think it was a standalone book by Rob Thurman, and she's the author of the Cal Leandro series, which is all right there. We've got Firebird by Mercedes Lackey. Oh yeah, this is like a whole section of Mercedes Lackey. So a lot of these are retold fairy tales. Kind of like, I don't know, kind of pan up slowly. Yeah, so this is like all part of the same series, the Elemental Masters. And then we've got this like Janine Frost series. So that's like the Cat and Bone series. I don't know what these names are actually. So that's like most of this. And there's like a couple of tie-in spin-off novel type things. This is an anthology, The Bite Before Christmas. And then we've got a couple of the Dorinda Jones series, the Charlie Davidson series here, as well as over here. As well. Oh, there's Harry Potter. So these are all like standalone adventure novels by James Rollins. We've got a lot of my Jennifer Ashley books. That's kind of surprising. I thought I had gotten rid of them, but I didn't. Cool. So this is like, oh god, the lighting's horrible. Tiger Magic. This is a duology, Dark Oracle and Rogue Oracle by Elena Williams, and that's the same writer as Laura Bickle. So that's like an urban fantasy series. And then we've got all of this series by Jennifer Ashley. I can't remember what that is, but it's paranormal romance with shifters. Then we've got Stormwalker, Firewalker, Shadow Walker by Allison James. That's a paranormal romance with dragon shifters. And then we get into the Wheel of Time. So I'm just going to kind of like, they're all back there. Again, kind of like peek around here, but there's more Wheel of Time. Here, I evidently still have the Aragon series. Okay. And then I've got the first and second book of the Discovery of Witches series, Harry Potter, there was Sorcerer's Stone. Back here, there are, I've got the Magical World of Harry Potter. But that's my original Lord of the Rings Hobbit series. These are all like paintings of Middle-earth, making of the movies, and like weapons and warfare, I think. Yeah, there's weapons and warfare of Lord of the Rings. But yeah, so that's all of that. I don't want to like dig all of those out. So my camera had more weird audio stuff, but up here we have The Aware and Gilfeather by Glinda Lark. So it's actually a trilogy, and the third one's on my Kindle. But then we have a lot of Preston and Child books, either together or by themselves. There's To Kill a Kingdom. There's The Inheritance by Robin Hobb and / Megan Lindholm. They're the same person, but different, short stories based on their worlds. The Night Voice is part of the Noble Dead series. And then there is Cold Fire and Cold Magic by Kate Elliott. I never actually finished the trilogy, unfortunately. And then over here, we've got like the Sookie Stackhouse Companion, more Sookie Stackhouse book. This is the Harper Connolly series. And then up here, we've got Princess at Sea and The Decoy Princess by Dawn Cook, who's actually Kim Harrison. And then there's also Resenting the Hero. And then back there's more Sookie Stackhouse. And then on this shelf, we've got like The World of Ice and Fire, some books about pirates, Complete Calvin Hobbes, Complete Farside, a book about battles and like travel. And then this shelf is like a lot of classics and books that I had to read for school. So there's like Water for Chocolate, Jane Eyre, Little Women, Great Expectations, The Odyssey, Beowulf over here, some, Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters. That wasn't one I had to read for class, but, so then over here, there's like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, a whole bunch of Christopher Moore books over here, and then there's like, these books about ancient Egypt, which I really like. So then over here, this is by my bed, so the lighting is awful, so sorry about that, but there's like a mythology book, Peanuts comics, I've got like a lot of books about making of movies, so there's like a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean things, just generally pirates things. There's like this Animals of the Ocean, I think, book that's kind of silly, and then there's more Calvin and Hobbes. So then here we have my like really nice bookcase, and then there's like a whole bunch of ancient Egyptian art stuff that I got at the Smithsonian. So then we have a lot of the Hollow series. This is the Rain Benares series by Lisa Sheeran. We've got some books by P.C. Cass that are all like paranormal romance, retelling God type things. Noble Dead series down here by Barb and J.C. Hendy. And then we've got like the Dresden Files. And I'm so sad that they are here because I would love to reread them. We've got this Poison Study whole situation series by Maria V. Snyder. Up there is The Grindle Affair, which is the first in the SPI files by Lisa Sharon. And then here is like most of the Other World series by Kelly Armstrong. And then over here, this is like an urban fantasy series by Jennifer Rardon, and sadly she passed away back when I was in high school, but this is a really good series. It's like a fun assassin and vampire book series. So my camera had weird audio stuff, so I'm having to like insert this in as we slowly, dramatically pan out of the bookshelf. But so that was obviously most of my collection at my parents' house. Some of the books that I have there are in boxes like my old Star Wars books, but this is most of it. But I hope you're having an excellent day and are reading something awesome. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, as that would certainly help me out. But with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up here and see you in the next one.